Part 18. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 171. The Void Moves. Space Laws. Those Taigo emperors who knelt down and worshipped were all shocked. They looked at Qin Hao with solemn and horrified eyes. He is worthy of being a giant of the Emperor of Heaven who can stand shoulder to shoulder with Taishan Tianzun. Until Prince Zixiao disappeared, they did not react at all. This also means that if Qin Hao wants to take action against them, then they may not even know how they died. This level of cultivation is too terrifying. Under the immortal way, they are simply invincible. Not bad, you can actually take someone away right in front of me. The Taishan Tianzun was also a little surprised, and then he laughed softly. He seemed to be in no hurry to take action, as if he still wanted to reminisce with Qin Hao. Boom! But Qin Hao was too lazy to waste time, and directly he took action. He punched out, and 6 rays of reincarnation fairy light exploded, creating a world of reincarnation. In the Taishan star territory, countless creatures felt their souls trembling, as if they were about to be forcibly transformed. Boom! But the next moment, Qin took action. Hao's destructive killing fist was blocked by an illusory and transparent ancient structure. With Taishan Tianzun as the center, the entire Taishan star territory was transformed into a huge barrier. The laws of the entire Taishan star territory, the power is all blessing on Taishan Tianzun at this moment. It can be said that in this Taishan star territory, Taishan Tianzun is the only god. Although the lockdown has not been completely lifted, it should be enough. At this time, the smile on Taishan Tianzun's face became a little cold. Qin Hao had not taken action before. He was trying to move Prince Zixiao to prevent the war from affecting Prince Zixiao. But Taishan Tianzun did not take action. Naturally has his purpose. That is to quietly resurrect the supreme barrier of the Taishan star territory. Over these long years, he has been able to devour the 8 mythological gods and the human emperors precisely because of this barrier. Now, as long as Qin Hao's heavenly emperor origin is swallowed up, all 99 will be restored to 1. Not only can he recover his injuries and return to his peak, he can even become an immortal in the world of mortals. Obediently hand over the origin of the Emperor of Heaven. Taishan Tianzun showed a ferocious look on his face, and with a thought, countless laws and orders swept towards Qin Hao. Each of those laws and orders seemed to have been tempered countless times, and it was not an ordinary power of laws. Look at that, it looks like he wants to seal Qin Hao and detain Qin Hao's origin as the Emperor of Heaven. If you were in your prime, you might be able to compete with me, but now. Qin Hao sneered and punched out again. This time, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist contains the true treasure of reincarnation. Whether it was the ancient barrier from the mythical age or the laws and orders, they all dissipated instantly upon contact. If you practice the magic of reincarnation successfully, you can understand the true meaning of reincarnation. Everything that has passed through reincarnation can be traced back to the state of reincarnation and nothingness. The magic of reincarnation. The Taishan Tianzun, who originally showed a ferocious look, is no longer as calm as before, and is filled with intense fear. Obviously, the Taishan Tianzun is also well aware of the horror of this famous and supreme treasure technique. Oh! Taishan Tianzun had just sacrificed the ancient divine weapon and wanted to take the opportunity to attack. Qin Hao had already taken a step across the air and appeared in front of Taishan Tianzun like a teleport. Qin Hao was seen, his left hand formed a fist, and the mark of reincarnation appeared, and his right hand pinched the sword technique manifests the mark of Hongmeng. The 6-path reincarnation fist, which contains the true reincarnation technique, suddenly bursts out of the air again, and all the worlds are sinking. Along with the 6-path reincarnation fist, there is also the 4 swords in 1, Zuxian sword formation. The Zuxian sword formation erupted with a dazzling sword light. It was the desolation sword technique that was used to cut the heaven and earth apart. Kill. Taishen Tianzun immediately blocked the air with ancient divine weapons. While blocking, Taigu Tianzun used a secret technique, and the laws of the entire Taishen star territory rioted. 9 rusty ancient copper nails were summoned from the endless void. Those 9 copper nails all exude an extremely ancient and strange aura. If you look carefully, you can still see that the 9 copper nails are stained with blood stains. Those blood stains seem to last forever. Contains the immortal aura of mythical gods and ancient emperors. Fairy nail. Those ancient emperors who retreated far away showed strong fear when they saw the 9 copper nails. It is said that the immortal suppressing nails used to make true immortals are the supreme weapons that cause bloodshed. Of course, these 9 immortal suppressing nails, no one knows whether they have suppressed the true immortals. But these 9 immortal suppressing nails have definitely suppressed the gods of the mythical era and the ancient emperors. At this time, the Taishan Tianzun sent these supreme fierce soldiers, were sacrificed directly. It can be seen that Qin Hao, who had just become the Emperor of Heaven, made even the Supreme God and Heavenly Lord extremely fearful. Seal up. In Qin Hao's eyes, the ancient heavy pupils appeared, and he could see at a glance the changes in the attack of the 9 immortal suppressing nails. After that, Qin Hao's figure flickered, like a glimpse of afterglow, so fast that even the Supreme God, Tianzun, could not catch the real thing. Body. The next moment, there were waves of nothingness permeating the 8 directions of Taishan Tianzun. After that, 8 space chains swept towards Taishan Tianzun. It was the supreme chain condensed by the 8 space laws. Ban. Taishan Tianzun shouted angrily, controlling the laws of the Taishan star territory, and wanted to imprison the 8 chains of space laws. But unfortunately, Taishan Tianzun underestimated the power of the 8 chains of space laws. Those stars rushed out. The domain law was directly penetrated by the space chain, and Taishan Tianzun was trapped. Not only that, the chain of Tao law also turned into a terrifying barrier, completely destroying the laws of the Taishan star domain and the 9 immortal suppressing nails. Blocked out. Even the supreme fierce soldiers who had stained the blood of Tianzun and Tiandi could not attack those law barriers. Because those space chains contained not only the laws of space, but also the laws of time. It was Dezhang and Zhujian's innate magical power. Break. This made Taishan Tianzun change his color, and he felt a strong sense of danger. He formed seals with his hands, and his whole body was filled with ancient Taoist patterns from the mythical era. He used the supreme forbidden technique to attack, trying to break the blockade of the time and space barrier around him. Qin Hao with cold eyes, the dazzling Hongmeng fairy light bloomed all over his body, amplifying the power of time and space. This made the Taishan Tianzun who used the forbidden technique still trapped in the laws of time and space, unable to escape at all. No way. Tianzun, was he actually suppressed? Seeing that scene, those ancient emperors who were shocked before were all stunned now. In their impression, Taishan Tianzun has always overthrown all enemies in the world, and no one can compare with him. Even on the road to becoming an immortal, those stern people, everyone's immortal spirits, including the Taishan Tianzun, can be injured. Now, they are suppressed by a human celestial emperor who has just attained the position of celestial emperor? Sure enough, there is an injury. Qin Hao was not surprised by this. He had sensed it before. There was a serious Dao injury in Taishan Tianzun's body, very serious. According to Qin Hao's prediction, it was most likely that he was injured on the road to becoming an immortal. The injuries caused by the immortal magic are still lingering. This should be the reason why Taishan Tianzun had to take the risk to plunder the origin of the Emperor of Heaven. Because only the origin of the Emperor of Heaven can extend the life of Taishan Tianzun. And Taishan Tianzun, on the other hand, a devouring and refining heavenly emperor, is still in the ancient times. After a long time to this day, this Taishan heavenly lord has long lost the fighting power at its peak. Qin Hao is just the opposite. After thousands of years of precipitation, he has survived the double heavenly emperor tribulation, after aspiring to the realm of the Emperor of Heaven. Qin Hao's combat power has undergone a transformation like a rebirth, and he is enough to fight against immortals in adversity. Send you on your way. As soon as he thought of this, Qin Hao's murderous intention became even more intense. In the palm of his left hand, a reincarnation mark containing the aura of destruction emerged. Qin Hao wanted to make this Taishan Tianzun age rapidly until it decayed. The treasure of reincarnation can not only make people can also speed up the future by looking back at the past. Although the effect of reincarnation can only last for a while. But for Qin Hao now, let alone a while. Even if it is just a momentary flaw, he can make this Taishan Tianzun, beheaded by the sword. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 172. Is he really the most powerful emperor of heaven in history? Feel the unprecedented terror and killing. The face of Taishan Tianzun became more and more solemn. Whether it is the human heavenly emperor in ancient times, or several heavenly lords from ancient times and mythological times, no one has ever made him feel so dangerous. It was a real sense of danger of death. Even at the beginning. None of the fairies he met on the road to immortality had ever made him so frightened. No wonder that day, Qin Hao shattered thousands of Dao and condensed the Tianxin seal. The 10,000 suppress ions emitted are so shocking and terrifying, like a fairy coming to the world. Unblock. Immediately, Taishan Tianzun immediately used the life-saving forbidden technique. I saw that after his hands changed into seals, his whole body exuded dazzling divine light. Every ray of divine light contained ancient and mysterious laws of heaven and earth. Those divine lights intertwined vertically and horizontally, 8 mysterious ancient seals condensed, and the vast aura of the ancient times swept across them. Each of those 8 mysterious ancient seals sealed a true spirit seal. Those true spirit seals were from the age of mythology. The heavenly Lord, as well as the origin of the ancient human heavenly emperor. Look at that. It seems that this Taishan heavenly Lord has no way to refine the Dao seals of those heavenly lords and heavenly emperors. Instead, he deliberately left those true spirit Dao seals behind. After being unsealed, the 8 mysterious ancient seals all condensed into a majestic figure. 7 ancient gods and 1 ancient emperor. Counting the Taishan Tianzun, there are a total of 9 supreme emperor-level combat powers. Is the real trump card of Taishan Tianzun. It is also the ultimate goal of Taishan Tianzun. As long as he suppresses Qin Hao and refines the origin of the heavenly emperor, then Taishan Tianzun can be unified, and it is possible that in the world of mortals, he defied heaven and became an immortal. There was a loud bang. Qin Hao's reincarnation magic blasted from the sky was blocked by the ancient Tianzun and the ancient Tianzun with great magic power. Immediately afterwards, the Taishan Tianzun led the Tianzun and the emperor to surround them with 9 palaces with such force, they attacked Qin Hao. Whoosh, whoosh. When they rushed out at a high speed, they also used a secret method to summon the 9 immortal suppressing nails. According to rumors, the immortal suppressing nails were enough to make the real immortals bleed. Coupled with the combat power of the 9 heavenly emperors, the overwhelming killing power caused the universe to change color and the star field to tremble. Although the 7 ancient heavenly lords and ancient heavenly emperors only manifested themselves as true spirit seals. But the terrifying killing power is still extremely terrifying, and it can easily shatter the universe star field in a moment. Qin Hao is not afraid of this. Various killing techniques are continuously bombarded. Time and space blockade, the cycle of reincarnation was reversed, the sword skills shattered the sky, and the 10 evils shocked the world. A terrifying battle that destroyed the world broke out at this moment. 10 emperor-level combat powers fought, turning the Taishan star territory into a battlefield of destruction in the blink of an eye. Even the major life star fields around the Taishan star territory were affected, and countless ancient stars migrated. Taishan Tianzun, it seems that you can't take down this person. Do you want me to help you? In the midst of the fierce and brutal fighting, a gloomy voice sounded without warning. But neither Qin Hao nor Taishan Tianzun were surprised at all. At their level, unless a real statue comes immortal. Otherwise, it would be impossible to sneak into their fighting range without them noticing. In the core area where Qin Hao and Taishan Tianzun were fighting, a figure quietly emerged. It was an old man, skinny as a stick, it looked like a mummy without a trace of life. But such a skinny old man could withstand the impact of the law of destruction. The vampire ancestor. Taishan Tianzun's eyes flashed slightly. This skinny old man was the ancestor of the vampire clan with a great reputation in ancient times. It was rumored that all the vampire clan died under the vampire curse due to divine punishment. But in fact, all the members of the vampire clan were sacrificed to death by this vampire ancestor. The purpose was to make the vampire curse reach the level of true immortal magic. Among creatures of the level of Taishan Tianzun, blood ghosts, the ancestor of the ghost clan, has a prominent reputation. Unexpectedly, this unparalleled evil demon also targeted Qin Hao. How about you take away his Dao foundation and origin, and I swallow his body and blood? The ancestor of the vampire clan has eyes as scarlet as blood, as if a sea of blood is rolling, which makes people feel heart-stopping. Good. Hearing this, Taishan Tianzun only pondered for a moment and then made a decision immediately. To be honest, even with his current, all-out attack, it is difficult to suppress Qin Hao. And if it continues to be delayed, then he will definitely lose his energy and blood, and will most likely be suppressed by Qin Hao. Therefore, to a certain extent, the vampire ancestor's proposal is exactly what he wants. Boom! Immediately, the vampire ancestor's figure flashed, directly turned into a sea of blood that covered the sky and the sun and rushed out. The entire star field became extremely blood-red at this moment, and the innate essence of countless ancient living stars was swallowed up by the sea of blood. Curse to kill. The vampire ancestor is in the sea of blood, with his hands turning into seals, and his body is covered with strange blood patterns, which is gloomy and terrifying. At a glance, with the vampire ancestor as the center, the entire blood sea has turned into a huge blood curse. There is an unparalleled terrifying killing calamity, which spreads out from the boundless blood curse and makes the heavens shatter. This is... Qin Hao's eyes moved slightly. This breath was not unfamiliar to him. That day, when he entered the starry sky ancient road, those ancient emperors who were regarded as scapegoats by the ancient emperor Wuji joined forces and used this ancient forbidden technique, the vampire curse, on him. Although the vampire curse of the vampire ancestor in front of him is far superior to those of the ancient emperors in the past. The ancient eyes flashed, and it was immediately clear that he could see through the vampire curse and the endless murderous intent hidden behind it. Qin Hao now is completely different from what he was back then. This vampire ancestor is an extremely ferocious giant who has lived for a long time. But still, he is far from Qin Hao's opponent. Break. I only heard Qin Hao shout softly, and the Hongmeng mark on his palm emitted billions of lights. The next moment, above the 9 heavens, 10,000 laws, like a torrent, suddenly dropped down. There was a boom. Whether it was the ancient barrier deployed by the Supreme God, or the boundless sea of blood derived from the vampire ancestor, were all subjected to the world-destroying killing technique at this moment. Qin Hao's combat power finally broke out at this moment. Poof! The ancestor of the vampire who was transformed into a vampire curse, his body was shaken violently, his face was thin and pale, and a large mouthful of blood spurted out. Looking at his chaotic aura, you knew that he had suffered huge injuries from the thousands of killings just now. Taishan Tianzun is also uncomfortable. There are blood marks all over his body, and the injuries in his body are difficult to suppress. The seven ancient Tianzun and the ancient emperor have become even more shaky, and their Taoism is unstable. What happened? Why is the suppression of the 10,000 Dao laws so terrifying? The ancestor of the vampire ghost screamed in shock and disbelief. Although he has not achieved the position of Heavenly Lord, his combat power is definitely not weaker than that of the ancient Heavenly Lord. But now, under the suppression of Qin Hao's control of the 10,000 Dao laws, he is easily defeated, seriously injured. With such terrifying combat power, could it be that Qin Hao has already touched the fairyland? No, among those 10,000 laws, there is also an extremely terrifying supreme law. The Taishan Tianzun who had set foot in the Tianzun realm felt it more clearly, and his expression became more solemn. The attack just now, what really caused them to suffer heavy losses was not the suppression of the 10,000 Dao laws, but that and so on what is above all the laws of the world seems to be the supreme law of the first creation of the world. There is definitely a shocking secret hidden in Qin Hao. Did he get the true immortal method? Or, the immortal king method? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 173. Oh, can you actually withstand my Hongmeng killing calamity? Qin Hao was slightly surprised when he saw the supreme god Tianzun and the vampire ancestor who were severely injured but not killed. These two are indeed ancient creatures who have lived for a long time. You know, after surviving the double heavenly emperor tribulation, comprehending the laws of 10,000 Daos, and condensing the seal of the heart of heaven, Qin Hao had a deeper understanding of the Hongmeng law. That feeling allowed Qin Hao to faintly touch the origin of the Hongmeng law. That it is the supreme source of law that was born when the world first opened, and can suppress all laws in the world. But that's it? After that, Qin Hao did not hesitate. In the dazzling Hongmeng fairy light, he came like an invincible immortal king from ancient times and came across the sky. At this moment, the heavens shook, and all the ways were singing in unison. This universe, it seems that everyone is surrendering to Qin Hao. Not good. At this moment, the eyes of the Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestor who suffered heavy injuries shrank sharply. An indescribable sense of danger of death made them risk their lives. Such a clear sense of death, as if he was already in the 9 nether hells and was being judged. Immediately, Taishan Tianzun and vampire ancestor immediately used their strongest immortal forbidden skills. The 9 gods are united. I saw the Taishan Tianzun, with ancient marks on his hands, and strange divine patterns emerging all over his body. The 8 true spirit seals of the ancient Tianzun were all integrated into his body at this moment, and merged into one. Not only those of the 8 Tianzun, the true spirit Dao seal, even the 9-way immortal suppressing nails, are perfectly integrated. This was originally the ultimate forbidden technique used by Taishan Tianzun to defy heaven and prove immortality. But now, he has to fuse this forbidden technique. Moreover, he regards himself as the fusion seal. This is truly desperate. Blood sacrifice to the common people. The vampire ancestor's side burst out and turned into billions of blood lights, like a bloody torrent. Those blood lights covered all the ancient stars in the Taishan star territory, sacrificing trillions of life forms. Down to the flesh mortal bodies, all the way up to the ancient emperor, were devoured by the vampire ancestor's blood sacrifice. This caused the vampire ancestor's aura to expand crazily at this moment, like a god coming. This is the vampire ancestor, deduction, the ultimate version of the vampire curse that has been used for countless years. You can use the vampire curse to sacrifice all the people in the world. The more creatures you sacrifice, the stronger the power. Although the vampire ancestor has not deduced the vampire curse to at the level of true immortality, there is no way to transform into an immortal. But the power of that explosion is still enough to destroy the world and make all living beings fearful. Kill. After that, the Taishan Tianzun, who united the 9 gods, and the vampire ancestor who sacrificed the entire star field with blood, headed towards Qin Hao to attack. This is their most powerful forbidden technique. They don't believe it. They have just become the Emperor of Heaven. Qin Hao, the leader, can compete with such a forbidden technique of destruction. Of course. If they fail even this move, it also means that they are destined to die tragically at the hands of Qin Hao. Click. In an instant, the 3 of them were fierce in the universe star field. Collision. Endless laws and billions of laws collided at this moment, shaking the world. Centered on the collision of the 3 of them, terrifying cracks like endless abyss spread out unscrupulously. Taishan star at this moment, the domain is like a struck light mirror, which may be completely shattered at any time. Chi chi chi. The next moment, a destructive sword energy that reaches the sky and the earth sweeps across the blazing chaos fairy fire, and it burns up instantly. That each cast their forbidden spells, and the supreme god Tianzun and the vampire ancestor who were confronting Qin Hao were immediately burned with immortal fire. Yin and Yang chaos fire. No, there is also chaos fairy fire in it. Howls of horror and pain resounded immediately. Both the Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestors suffered heavy losses. Because the chaotic fairy fire not only burned the body, but also swept into the depths of the soul. Even they, the Dao fruits, were all burned up by the fairy fire at this moment. Hey! When the supreme god Tianzun and the vampire ancestor were fleeing in fear, Qin Hao's fatal attack had already arrived. A bright sword light, like the scorching sun rising into the sky, illuminated the entire shattered star field. The sword light seemed to come out slowly, but in an instant, the sword light illuminated the depths of the universe. Time. The eyes of Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestor all shrank sharply, and their faces were pale and bloodless. They tried to dodge using secret techniques, but found that the time and space around them became extremely slow. Obviously, this was Qin Hao's supreme means that affected the space and time of the star field. Sure enough, although Qin Hao had just overcome the tribulation and became an emperor, his combat power had already touched the level of the immortal realm. While the 2 of them were frightened and changing expressions, Qin Hao's world-destroying sword light had completely overwhelmed them. Blood splattered everywhere. The laws are turbulent and broken. In thousands of star fields, the Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestor, both of whom had boundless evil reputations, just lost their souls and died. Bang! Bang! At the moment of being killed, 2 rays of light exploded and dissipated into the universe. This is the Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestor, who ignited the Dao fruit and the origin at the last moment. At their level, although they can be suppressed and killed, it is too difficult to seize the source alive. Unless there is an ancient treasure like the immortal suppressing nail, which can directly suppress the origin of Dao fruit. After that, Qin Hao used the 9-story immortal tower to suppress and ban the ancient magic weapons such as Zhenxian nail. When Qin Hao was shattering the ancient barrier of the Taishan star territory and preparing to return to the Xianhuang ancient star, deep in the universe, a deep gaze penetrated the endless star field and looked at him. Qin Hao tilted his head and stared. Passed by. In the extremely distant starry sky of the universe, there was an isolated island that seemed to be transformed by laws. On that isolated island, an old man wearing an ancient Taoist robe was looking at him quietly. Immortal Burial Island. Qin Hao's current cultivation level is not only at the level of the Emperor of Heaven, but his knowledge is also extraordinary. In the past, he only knew from ancient books that there were descendants of the true immortals from the ancient immortal period in the universe star field. However, from those ancient universes that were suppressed and killed, in the Emperor's palace, Qin Hao learned more specific information. Immortal Burial Island. In the entire universe, it is the only possibility that there is a forbidden land related to fairy spirits. That is the forbidden land of the entire universe, thousands of star fields, and hundreds of millions of living beings and ancient stars. As powerful as the Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestor, they are all forbidden areas that dare not set foot. When he saw Qin Hao manifesting his double pupils and using secret techniques to gain insight, the mysterious old man was surrounded by chaotic haze. Immediately, the entire island of laws just disappeared and disappeared without a trace. Very strong. Qin Hao's heart moved slightly and he withdrew his gaze. The mysterious island and the old man in Taoist robes are both extremely powerful. Qin Hao estimated that the mysterious old man is not far from the fairyland. Sure enough, in this universe, there are still unknown dangerous existences hidden. The mysterious old man on the immortal burial island is one of them. The giant hand of law that broke through the world and shattered the seal of Zixiao human emperors Tianxin is also one. Of course, although those mysterious existences are quite its dangerous. But Qin Hao doesn't have much fear about this. Before he could survive the tribulation of the Emperor of Heaven, he dared to kill in the universe star field, let alone now he has set foot on the level of the Emperor of Heaven. Then Qin Hao took a step. Hong Kong disappeared in the Taishan star territory. It was not until a long time later that the powerful creatures from other star territories dared to come and find out. Soon, the results of the war were detected by many star domain giants using secret techniques. The Supreme God Heavenly Lord died. The vampire ancestor died. The human celestial emperor is safe and sound. When this shocking result spread, the entire star field in the universe was silent. All living beings know that this era will become the world of the human celestial emperor. Already. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 174. After Qin Hao returned to Xianhuang ancient star, Prince Zixiao, who learned about the dangerous experience before, wanted to join Qin Hao's family. If he doesn't refine the Zixiao human emperor's Dao fruit, he will be targeted by all the races in the universe. Qin Hao did not refuse this. The Zixiao human emperor died fighting for the people of the five realms. Qin Hao will naturally take more care of his descendants. The result of the battle in the Taishan star territory was also transmitted from the universe star territory to the Xianhuang ancient star. After learning that the supreme god Tianzun and the vampire ancestor were both killed by Qin Hao, all the creatures of all races in Xianhuang ancient star fell into silence. He felt indescribable awe and fear towards Qin Hao, who was sitting in the eastern wasteland and overlooking the star territory. Even the Taishan Tianzun, who has lived from the age of mythology to the present day and has fought against the ancient immortals, kills them as soon as he says he will. Looking at the star field of the universe, which force dares to jump out again? After this battle, more than 10,000 people and billions of creatures in the universe will all respect the Emperor of Heaven. The history of the universe has officially entered the era of the Emperor of Heaven. This is the first time in the history of the universe that an era is named after the human heavenly emperor. As for the movements of all races in the universe, Qin Hao ignored them. After returning to Dei Holy Land and accepting Prince Zixiao, Qin Hao directly entered the time and space tower for retreat. Although the road to immortality is about to begin, everyone is expected to become immortal and ascend in this era. But Qin Hao didn't want to set foot in the fairyland in his current state. Either you will not become an immortal, or if you want to become an immortal, you must embark on the strongest immortal path. Therefore, Qin Hao is still merging his divine and physical bodies. He never gave up on this most difficult and most powerful road in history. In this kind of penance, time flies by like an arrow. In Xianhuang ancient star, it was 20 years after entering the heavenly emperor calendar. In Dei Holy Land, someone caused the great emperor's tribulation and wanted to overcome it and become the emperor. The enlightened person is Zhang Taishu. Zhang Taishu, who was only in the ancient saint realm more than 100 years ago, has now reached the imperial realm in the blink of an eye. This made countless quasi-emperors and giants in the history of Xianhuang lament that Dei Holy Land had amazing luck. But they didn't know that Zhang Taishu had been practicing for more than 8,000 years. Although he had taken the long-lived miracle medicine, his energy and blood were still at their peak. But if he still doesn't realize the truth and become an emperor now, I'm afraid there will be no possibility of becoming an emperor again. Therefore, in Dei Holy Land, Zhang Taishu was the first giant to attack the imperial realm. During this imperial tribulation, even Qin Hao's body was alarmed and walked out of the 7-star space-time tower. Boom! As the rolling thunder clouds exploded, Zhang Taishu's thunder disaster officially arrived. Although those thunder tribulations were filled with aura of destruction, Zhang Taishu's expression was calm. The great sage Liwo, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu, and others also did not have much ups and downs. Compared to the beginning, Qin Hao's series of foreign immortals were all double imperial tribulations caused by the emperor's blood. This level of thunder calamity can really be said to be nothing compared to the big one. Of course, although Zhang Taishu looked calm, he was not careless. Perhaps in Qin Hao's eyes, this kind of imperial calamity could be suppressed with a wave of his hand. But for Zhang Taishu, he still needs to go all out. This great emperor tribulation finally came to an end after lasting for 10 days and 10 nights. Zhang Taishu succeeded in becoming emperor. Dei Holy Land, the second supreme emperor was born. Originally, Zhang Taishu could successfully combine the Tao in less than 10 days. But he was unwilling to give in. He wanted to condense the Tianxin seal and hit a higher level. That's why the emperor's tribulation lasted for so long. But unfortunately, Zhang Taishu's foundation was still poor, and he ultimately failed to condense the Tianxin seal. Although Zhang Taishu failed to unite Tianxin successfully, he was extremely satisfied. After meeting Zhang Taishu and successfully becoming emperor, huge waves arose among the human races in the 5 domains. Originally, the 5-domain human race thought that after Qin Hao attained the throne of heavenly emperor, he would suppress his descendants and fail to become emperor. But he didn't expect that Qin Hao's disappearing Tianxin mark really didn't affect other people's enlightenment. This naturally makes the few quasi-emperor giants in the 5 realms who are qualified to achieve enlightenment very happy. Another 10 years later. 30 years of the emperor's calendar. In the Taoyi Holy Land, someone once again proved the Tao. This time, it was the Liwo great sage who merged with the Ji-Dao emperor's soldiers and became a soldier. There are as many as 9 Ji-Dao imperial weapons integrated into the body, and all of them have been refined and fused. The great sage Liwo finally reached his own depth and triggered the catastrophe of the Emperor of Heaven. Qin Hao came out of seclusion again and was protected by the great sage Liwo. The great sage Liwo attained enlightenment and did not want to condense the Tianxin seal. Because what he took can be said to be an alternative path to enlightenment. Therefore, when he was going through the tribulation, he swallowed the entire emperor's tribulation into his body to temper his body to the limit. Such a crazy move is naturally extremely dangerous, almost causing death. But fortunately, Qin Hao took action and resolved the murder for the great sage Liwo. This allowed the great sage Liwo to successfully reborn from the ashes and reach the top of the imperial realm. Dei Holy Land, unprecedented in history, has 3 great emperors to rule the world. The 5 realms of Xianhuang worship Taoyi Holy Land more and more, and every year countless talented people come to worship as their disciples. Even among all the races in the universe, some neutral races have sent their beings here. In response to this, Dei Holy Land embraced all rivers, recruited many disciples, and became more and more prosperous. 50 years of the emperor's calendar. Holy Sun Dei, another imperial calamity appears. In just 50 years, 3 imperial calamities occurred in succession. This not only shocked the 5 realms of Xianhuang, but also the star realm of the universe. The person who overcame the disaster this time was Qin Fengxiu. After the origin of the Taiyan body was perfected, Qin Fengxiu originally wanted to go one step further and continue to settle beyond the limit. As a result, her imperial calamity came uncontrollably. Qin Fengxiu had no choice but to survive the disaster. With Qin Hao protecting the way, the emperor's tribulation was naturally successfully ended and she became the first female emperor in history. But Qin Fengxiu is still a little short of the condensed Tianjin seal, which is quite a pity. After all, condensing the Tianjin seal is an extremely difficult road. Looking at the history of the human race, there are only a few great emperors who can conquer thousands of ways and condense the mark of Tianjin. Along with the Daoyi Holy Land, 3 supreme emperors were born in succession. In the 5 realms of Xian Huang and Huang, the destiny has been sublimated and they have entered a glorious era where great emperors emerge in large numbers. 3 years after Qin Fengxiu attained Taoism, the Emperor of Heaven passed through 50 years and 3 periods. In the Zixiao divine courtyard, King Zixiao, who had been enlightened by Qin Hao, officially set foot in the realm of the great emperor. The Zixiao divine courtyard, which was originally saved due to Qin Hao's protection, returned to its position as the overlord of Zhongzhou. After King Zixiao of Zhongzhou became enlightened, the leader of the ancient sect of the Northern Territory, the Buxian divine sect, overcame the calamity and became the emperor. The Nanling monster clan, who was warned by Qin Hao in the past, is a giant of the monster clan with true dragon bloodline, the dragon bird quasi-emperor, transformed into nirvana, and set foot in the imperial realm. 60 years of the emperor's calendar. Zhou Yang and Yao Biatian came out of seclusion one after another and became emperors. Zhou Yang even used his perfect divine king body to sublime it to the extreme, defying the heavens and fighting against all the ways, condensing the mark of the heavenly heart. 70 years of the emperor's calendar. Qin Yi's chaotic body is perfected, he has conquered thousands of ways, and after condensing the mark of Tianjin, the calamity of the emperor of heaven will fall. This shocked the universe and caused an uproar throughout the world. Could it be that the Daoyi Holy Land, where 1 heavenly emperor and 5 great emperors have already been born, will have another heavenly emperor appear? Under the spotlight of everyone, Qin Yi, who was expected to succeed with Qin Hao's help, gave up the tribulation of the emperor of heaven for some unknown reason. Although he didn't know the reason, seeing Qin Yi's failure still made all living beings in the universe heave a sigh of relief. The current Daoyi Holy Land is already like a boundless mountain, pressing in the hearts of all living beings. There is really no need to become stronger. 100 years of the emperor's calendar. Unprecedented in history, with 7 great emperors ruling the world, Daoyi Holy Land became increasingly prosperous. The power of the quasi-emperor realm has already defeated hundreds of people. There are tens of millions of great saint realms, ancient saint realms, and saint realms. It can truly be called a strong man like a cloud. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 175. As luck surged, the human race in the Xianhuang 5 domains became increasingly powerful. In the 120th year of the emperor's calendar, the 5-domain human race, which had been severely damaged in the past, has returned to prosperity. Even if it is not counted as Daoyi Holy Land. There are also 15 great emperors in the 5 realms. Those extremely ancient creatures that had been sealed from the immortal source for countless years were all born in this era and attained enlightenment. Even in the cosmic star field, many ancient giants from all races came to Xianhuang ancient star to prove their enlightenment. Because, the heaven and earth of Xianhuang ancient star are filled with the aura of immortality, which is getting stronger and stronger. If you achieve enlightenment in such an environment and succeed, the benefits will naturally be huge. After seeing that the heavenly emperor of the human race did not prevent all races from attaining enlightenment, creatures from countless star regions in the universe gathered at the Xianhuang ancient star to compete for the opportunity to attain enlightenment. This situation did not stop until the 150th year of the emperor's calendar. This year, Xianhuang ancient star, the world has changed dramatically. The unprecedented aura of immortality filled the entire Xianhuang five realms. Even those mortals who cannot cultivate are aware of it. This made countless ancient creatures in the Xianhuang five domains boil with ecstasy. Such changes, there is no doubt that the road to immortality will be opened in the future. Donghuang. Tao Yi Holy Land. 7 Stars Space-Time Tower. Qin Hao, whose whole body was surrounded by Hongmeng fairy light and the 6 secret realms vibrated together, slowly opened his eyes. In those eyes as deep as the stars, the source of Hongmeng is surging, mysterious and unpredictable. 10,000 years have passed since the beginning of the suppression of Taishan Tianzun and the vampire ancestors in the 7-star space-time tower. Except for the Holy Land, where someone came out of seclusion when he became an emperor, Qin Hao never left the space-time tower. From practicing to now, Qin Hao's lifespan has reached more than 17,000 years. For a normal emperor, this would already mean he is entering his old age. But Qin Hao's energy and blood are still boiling like the sea. Not only has he not declined at all, he is even stronger. During these 10,000 years of seclusion, Qin Hao has taken a big step forward in the integration of his spiritual and physical bodies. Although there is still a long way to go before true integration, the effect is extremely amazing. In addition, the condensation of Hongmeng immortal bone also reached 178 pieces. It can be said that over the past 10,000 years, Qin Hakai has only condensed 74 more Hongmeng immortal bones. This shows how difficult it is to condense the Hongmeng immortal bones in the later stages. Even as he stepped into the level of Emperor of Heaven, Qin Hao's understanding and aptitude improved by leaps and bounds. But it is still extremely difficult to condense the Hongmeng immortal bones. When integrating the 6 secret realms and condensing the Hongmeng immortal bone, Qin Hao's understanding of the treasure of reincarnation has also reached an extremely advanced level. Now, he has cultivated 2 reincarnation seals. However, those 2 reincarnation seals will escape into reincarnation after successful cultivation. From time to time, special insights will emerge from the 2 original seals of reincarnation. Those insights seem to be Qin Hao himself, going through reincarnations. To a certain extent, the divine art of reincarnation is no weaker than the art of transforming 3 pure states into 1 energy. The former steps directly into reincarnation, while the latter touches the past, present, and future. Can't tell which one is strong and which one is weak. But no matter which one it is, once it is understood thoroughly, it will definitely make Qin Hao soar into the sky. Aha! After that, Qin Hao stood up, his figure flashed, and appeared in the Dei Holy Land, the temple. Emperor. At this time, dozens of figures have gathered in the temple. The weakest ones are those in the late quasi-emperor stage. Zhang Taishu, Great Sage Liwo, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu and others who have set foot in the imperial realm are also gathered together. You should all feel it. The road to immortality will appear in a month at most. If you want to enter the road to immortality and compete for immortality, you can make preparations. But there is one thing you must remember. The danger level on the road to immortality may be beyond your imagination. As far as I know, even the ancient heavenly lord from the mythical age was injured and returned home on the road to immortality. Qin Hao waved his hands and took the main seat. He went straight to the topic without any nonsense. As soon as these words came out, many quasi-emperors and giants in the temple kept exclaiming. You know, the ancient Tianzun in the mythical era was a supreme existence that can rival the Emperor of Heaven. Is the road to becoming an immortal so scary? Zhang Taishu, Zhou Yang, and others were also slightly moved, but not much surprised. Transforming into an immortal is an extremely difficult task. After the ancient immortal era passed away for unknown reasons, in these countless epochs, there were only a handful of creatures that could defy heaven and become immortals. Therefore, they did not have high hopes for entering the road to immortality this time. Of course. No matter how small the hope is, they will not miss this opportunity that is rare in hundreds of thousands of years. Qin Hao did not say much about this, and asked everyone in the Holy Land to disperse and go to make preparations. But at this time, however, Zhang Taishu stayed and took out a pillar of flames. "Junior uncle, is there any news about the uncle?" Qin Hao's expression perked up. The Ji-Dao Emperor weapon that Zhang Taishu took out was his uncle's golden crow divine fire pillar. Whether it was when he first received the news or after he attained the position of Emperor of Heaven, Qin Hao had sent out the Dharma body. In the battlefield of Daiguan, the search centered on the god burial pit. After that, Zhou Yang and Zhang Taishu also went to explore separately. But in the end, they did not find the whereabouts of his uncle at all. Now, Zhang Taishu actually found the golden crow divine fire pillar. Taking it out, Qin Hao was naturally moved. A few days ago, there was a strange movement in the golden crow divine fire pillar, and the aura of senior brother appeared in the direction of Emperor Pass. Zhang Taishu nodded, and then told Qin Hao the news. Although he immediately went to the Daiguan battlefield to explore. However, Zhang Taishu did not find the source of his senior brother's aura. "Is it really in the Imperial Pass battlefield?" Qin Hao murmured softly. It seems that the battlefield of the Imperial Pass really hides a big secret. This reminded Qin Hao of the ruins of the Imperial Pass that he saw at the bottom of the Imperial Pass. The ruins of the Imperial Pass. The pass, most likely, was left over from ancient times. Thinking of this, Qin Hao took the golden crow divine fire pillar, flashed in the sky, and Tong Zhang Taishu came to the Imperial Pass. But unfortunately, this time they still missed. Whether it was the ruins of the Imperial Pass buried deep in the ground or the god burial pit deep in the Imperial Pass battlefield, they couldn't find any clues. As a last resort, they had to leave the Imperial Pass battlefield. Now the road to immortality was about to begin. To start it, they have to make more preparations. Although the road to immortality is a rare opportunity, it may be a gift from heaven. But at the same time, the dangers on the road to immortality are not a joke. Qin Hao unexpectedly, the Holy Land Foundation that was cultivated with great difficulty suffered heavy losses on the road to becoming an immortal. Even in the 7-star space-time tower, a month passed in the blink of an eye. Boom! On this day, on the sky of Xianhuang Ancient Star, there were bursts of roaring sounds. The roaring sounds were like the anger of the ancient thunder god, and like the gate of heaven being opened, making countless creatures tremble. I saw that above the 9 heavens, there was a fairy light shining all over the sky, alarming the 9 heavens and 10 places. In that dazzling fairy light, there are countless mysterious visions manifested. There is the immortal ancient ancestral dragon, commanding all the demons and gods. There is the invincible sword fairy, who cuts through 3,000 universes with one sword. There are immortal spirits, preaching billions of living beings receive supreme merit from heaven. Immortal ancient. On the Xianhuang Ancient Star, there are extremely ancient creatures, and they are extremely excited. Such shocking and mysterious visions are exactly what is recorded in ancient books, the ancient immortal world. Only when the road to becoming an immortal is opened, the ancient immortal world where endless legends are spread, will manifest. The rumors of ancient immortals recorded in countless ancient books are actually deduced from these ancient immortal worlds. Because every time the immortal road is born, the ancient immortal phenomena that emerge will be different. Now the ancient vision of the immortal did not manifest any great evil or unknown, and it should be a sign of good luck. This also made countless ancient creatures more and more excited. Especially in the universe star field, those ancient emperors and emperors who did not live long. Supreme, even more so. This road to immortality is the last chance for them to survive. Otherwise, even if they cut off their seals, there will be an end. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 176. Above the nine heavens, the dazzling and mysterious fairy light is getting stronger and stronger. The visions of the immortal ancients are becoming more and more real, just like the immortal ancient era is coming across time and space. An indescribable and terrifying immortal pressure swept across the entire Xianhuang ancient star, shaking the entire universe. The countless powerful creatures that gathered at Xianhuang ancient star became increasingly excited. Because in those immortal ancient visions, an ancient road filled with the breath of time gradually appeared. That ancient road was glorious and majestic. It was paved with the supreme immortal method and contained the immortal true immortal method. Pieces of ancient star fields rotate around the ancient path of immortal magic, and thousands of great worlds are derived. There was a thud. The vision of fairy light seemed to be in real contact with the ancient black and yellow star. There are circles of ripples of fairy light, sweeping and spreading. The boundless, eternal aura of immortality suddenly descended on the entire Xianhuang ancient star. The elusive supreme immortal path that was previously like the moon in the water or the flower in the mirror has truly arrived and manifested. Changxian Road. It's on. An excited voice suddenly resounded. After that, countless rays of light rose through the sky and rushed into the mysterious immortal road. At the moment of setting foot, no matter it was the ancient emperor of all races or the great emperor of the human race, the supreme beings who killed themselves and the creatures in the quasi-emperor realm have all disappeared. The creatures on the Xianhuang ancient star can still see the path to immortality that came to the world. But they cannot see those who broke into the world and became immortals. The creatures in the immortal road. It feels as if they have really entered the ancient era of immortality. Eastern Wasteland. The powerful human beings from the 5 domains are now gathering at Dei Holy Land. Everyone is looking towards in the sky. There is a figure in white clothes like snow, surrounded by fairy light. It is the Emperor of Heaven, Qin Hao. The current human race in the 5 domains, except for those ancient monks who have proclaimed themselves since ancient times, all the forces are headed by Qin Hao. I want to follow Qin Hao on the road to immortality. Strange. After watching for a while, Qin Hao murmured softly, with some doubts in his tone. Among the cosmic creatures who entered the path to immortality, he did not see the mysterious ancestor of immortal Burial Island. And the original broken purple, the master of the law giant hand of Emperor Xiao's Tianxin mark, has not arrived either. The strongest creatures that appear now have only reached the level of the 6-armed gods in the past. Even the giants such as Taishan Tianzun, Vampire Ancestor, and other Tianzun-level giants have, none of them appeared. Qin Hao didn't believe that there were only 1 or 2 Tianzun-level existences in the thousands of star fields. Are they not interested at all in the road to immortality? Or do they know something? Inside story? Set off. Of course, Qin Hao didn't think too much about this issue. The opportunity to become an immortal was right in front of him, and Qin Hao had no reason not to go. Oh! Following Qin Hao's order. Led by Dei Holy Land, the mighty 5, the strong men of the human race in the domain, immediately rushed into the road to become immortals. After a while, the original laws surged, and the Xianhuang ancient star, where there were countless strong men, became solemn and deserted. In the ethereal and mysterious fairy mist, there is a faint fairy light shining. Qin Hao's figure is revealed. Are you separated? The moment he appeared, Qin Hao discovered that Dei Holy Land and the 5 domains human race were teleported apart. The layer of fairy light at the entrance to the immortal road is definitely the ancient immortal method, even stronger. Otherwise, Qin Hao, who was not strong enough now, didn't even react at all and was teleported away. Soon, Qin Hao gathered his thoughts. Opportunities must be fought for by oneself. The road must be walked by oneself in the end. The people of Dei Holy Land, whether they can survive this disaster depends on their own luck. After that, Qin Hao strode into the air and walked towards the center of the rich fairy mist. These fairy mist were extremely pure, and one wisp was equivalent to the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in a secret realm in the outside world. But these fairy mist are not the real fairy energy, they are still mixed with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. And in the center of this fairy mist, Qin Hao sensed the real fluctuation of fairy energy. Immortal ancient ruins. At this time, Zhou Yang came to the endless ancient ruins that exuded the atmosphere of ancient times. Looking at the ancient Taoist patterns carved in those ancient ruins that were like immortal magic, Zhou Yang was quite happy. He started from in those ancient Dao patterns, I felt the real breath of immortal magic, like a real immortal preaching. After carefully sensing, Zhou Yang carefully entered the ancient ruins. Just when Zhou Yang entered the ancient ruins, that ancient ruins deep in the ruins, a shadowy creature appeared silently. These are all immortality medicines. On a spiritual lake as vast as the sea, Qin Fengxiu teleported down. On the spiritual lake filled with fairy energy, there grew 7 ancient magical medicines surrounded by fairy light. Some magical medicines walked like white tigers, walking in the air. Some magical medicines are as big as islands, suppressing the world. Some magical medicines are like fairy spirits, dancing gracefully. Those 7 ancient magical medicines are the undead magical medicines on the Xianhuang ancient star that are rare in thousands of years. Now, only one soul actually grew 7. How could this not surprise Qin Fengxiu? However, at the bottom of the spiritual lake, under a mysterious barrier, a pair of huge blood-red eyes filled with bloodthirsty eyes slowly opened. Open it. Immortal ancient killing formation. In an ancient cave, Yao Biatian manifested the demon's appearance, and his expression was quite solemn. The entire cave was covered by an extremely ancient killing array. The Yao Biatian who was teleported was naturally trapped in this waiting in the killing formation. Even though he has become an emperor now, he is no longer the young man who ran for his life. But at this time, Yao Basian feels an unsuppressible fear that he has not seen for a long time. This killing formation is extremely dangerous and extremely dangerous. It's possible that it's immortal goose killing array. In addition, there seems to be some unknown danger hidden in this cave. The moment it was teleported, Yao Basian entered a state of concentrated defense. Boom! There was a thunderstorm, endless thunder, like a heavy rain falling from the sky and the earth. Zhang Taishu stayed attentively. Uncle Master, it seems that things are not going well here. Beside Zhang Taishu, followed Dao Yi Holy Land, a new generation disciple in the late quasi-emperor realm. Those endless thunders are actually soul-shattering thunders that only appear during thunder tribulations. These thunders contain eternity. Once the ancient evil spirit enters the body, the soul will fly away. Even if it's hard, you have to get through it. Although Zhang Taishu's expression was solemn, he had no intention of stopping there. Before coming, he had been mentally prepared to encounter horrific killings and calamities. However, as soon as he came in, he unexpectedly encountered such a disaster, which was like a heavenly calamity. An endless thunder sea blocked the road. This still alarmed Zhang Taishu. No wonder in these long years, few living beings have crossed the road to immortality and aspired to the fairy land. Hu ho ho! The great sage Liwo also stood still at this moment. In front of him, there were endless flames and violent winds, roaring and sweeping across. Those raging flames were not ordinary raging flames, but the famous heavenly demonic flame from ancient times, which was said to be able to burn the sky. That kind of strong wind also has a terrible reputation. It is called the wind of desolation. As the name suggests, once touched, it can knock off a person's soul. Now, when the demonic flames of the sky and the wind of abjection meet, not only do they not conflict with each other, but the wind helps the fire, and the fire rises and the wind becomes famous, containing endless aura of destruction. Not just people from Taoyi Holy Land. Countless creatures who entered the path to immortality were scattered everywhere. Some people are in desperate situations after teleportation, some people get opportunities when they land, and some people are already dead. In front of an ancient temple, Qin Yi, with 3,000 black hair hanging down her waist and dazzling 9-color fairy clothes, looked calmly at the ancient temple. Since the donor is here, why not come in and talk? While Qin Yi was watching for a long time, an ethereal Buddha's voice sounded from the ancient temple. Immediately afterwards, hundreds of millions of bright Buddha lights radiated from the ancient temple, deriving a supreme God and Buddha to suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 177. The Dharma of Dalayan Temple. Qin Yi narrowed her eyes slightly, and there were strange flashes of color in her clear eyes. She was not surprised that there were creatures on the road to becoming an immortal. After all, this was recorded in many ancient books on Xianhuang ancient star. Some creatures were born on the road to immortality. Some creatures failed to attack the fairy land and have been trapped on the road to immortality. But the ethereal Buddha's voice in front of him and the fluctuations of Dharma radiated surprised Qin Yi. Because that is actually exactly the same as the Buddhist teachings of the Great Laoyin Temple. You know, Qin Yi swallowed and refined the first generation of the Lord of the Great Laoyin Temple. Naturally, there is no mistaking the fluctuations of Buddhism like this. In the past, the Great Laoyin Temple, after the failure of the mission to ascend to heaven, someone has been trapped on the road to becoming an immortal. The donor has the Buddhist teachings of Dalayan Temple. It seems that he is the one destined to teach me. After hearing Qin Yi's words, a dazzling golden light shone in the Supreme God and Buddha. Then, an old monk appeared in the God and Buddha. The old monk was so old that his energy and blood were gone. It has completely declined and is about to dissipate. However, the Dharma radiated by the old monk is extremely powerful, as if it has transformed into the origin of 10,000 Buddhas. On the occasion of my death, I am really lucky to meet someone who is destined to teach me. In this temple, my Buddhist teachings are left, and I hope the donor can pass them on. After the old monk finished speaking, all the golden light in the Supreme Buddha statue gathered in his body. The next moment, the old monk's whole body was filled with golden light. After that, he condensed into a golden relic and fell into the ancient temple. Middle. Relics. A bright light flashed in Qin Yi's eyes. The relics of Buddhism are equivalent to the Taoist fruits of monks. Boom. But Qin Yi did not set foot in the ancient temple. With a wave of her colorful clothes, a wave of 9, the rosy glow swept across like a torrent of 9 colors and suddenly bombarded out. With the deafening sound of bombing, the mysterious ancient palace completely collapsed. In its place, there was a mysterious barrier. In that barrier, there was a ghost, a strange creature, lifeless and unknown. In front of the unknown creature, suspended, was the golden relic. I actually noticed it. Qin Yi's decisive move surprised the strange creature. After that, a bone-chilling murderous intention swept over the strange creature. Since it was noticed and did not set foot in the barrier, it had no choice but to take action. Oh! That way! A strange creature stepped out in the air, creating an ancient mark. Immortal magic breath. Qin Yi was slightly moved. She clearly sensed the breath of immortal magic from that ancient mark. There is no doubt that it is a true immortal magic that surpasses the human realm. Could this strange creature be an immortal? A living creature? But are there such weak immortal creatures? Change. When she was surprised, Qin Yi was filled with immortal light and waved her sleeves to fight. This was not because she was arrogant and thought she could fight against the immortal creatures. It was because this immortal creature was really weak. That feeling was like he is like an ancient emperor who has dried up his energy and blood and has entered 10,000 years. Boom. A earth-shattering war broke out at this moment. The laws of humanity and the aura of immortality collided violently, causing the whole world to be in turmoil. With the help of the heaven-swallowing demonic art, recorded various supreme treasures, and the perfect chaotic body, Qin Yi was not afraid at all. The strange creature in front of him contained the aura of immortality. When Qin Yi fought against this strange creature, everywhere on the road to immortality, there was a big battle in all of them. In the ruins, Zhou Yang faced a creature wearing ancient armor that looked like an ancient war spirit. While Qin Fengxiu was picking the elixir of immortality, he was attacked by the huge blood-eyed creature at the bottom of the lake. Attack. After the demon Bassian broke through the supreme killing formation, he was entangled by a formation of spirit-like creatures, and a bloody battle broke out between the two sides. Zhang Taishu and the Quasi-Emperor disciple encountered a evil thunder after setting foot in the sea of evil soul thunder. Creatures. Great sage Liwo is in the catastrophe of wind, fire, and thunder, surrounded by a fire demon and a wind spirit, and is fighting fiercely. The human emperors and quasi-emperors of the 5 realms of Xianhuang, as well as the creatures of all races in the universe star realm, are also at this moment, encountered those strange creatures, and wars continued to break out. Although those strange creatures had different shapes and different combat powers. But one thing was that those strange creatures all exuded the aura of immortality. In a short period of time, entering the creatures on the road to becoming immortal suffered serious casualties. The ancient emperor, the great emperor of the human race, and the powerful quasi-emperor kept dying at the hands of those strange creatures. Of course, there were also some ancient giants with terrifying cultivation levels who, with their invincible combat power, were powerful suppress strange creatures. At this time, Qin Hao, who was walking in the fairy fog, finally arrived at the center of the fairy fog. There is a fairy pond about 1 foot in size, with fairy liquid inside, gurgling and surging. This extremely rich fairy mist is formed by the fairy energy overflowing from the fairy pool, mixed with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Immortal Pond. Beside the immortal pond, 3 ancient characters are carved with ancient characters from the ancient immortal period. Although Qin Hao doesn't know ancient immortal characters. But when I saw those 3 ancient characters, I naturally understood their meaning. Huaxianke. According to legend, can that mouth transform into an ascending fairy pond? Qin Hao's eyes showed double pupils, and he was carefully looking at the ancient fairy pool surrounded by fairy light. Qin Hao had read about the Huaxian pond in ancient books. It is said to be the supreme fairy pond that can cleanse acquired energy, transform innate beings, and ascend directly. Now, this legendary fairy pond was found so easily. Even with the blessing of Hongmeng luck, does this seem to be too smooth? Immortal enchantment. Under the ancient double pupils, Qin Hao really made a discovery. Centered on the immortal transformation pond, even if the double pupils were manifested, only a few traces of the mysterious immortal patterns could be seen, spreading out. The space with a radius of thousands of miles is covered by those mysterious immortal patterns, turning into an immortal magic barrier. At this time, Qin Hao was already in the fairy magic barrier. Unexpectedly, in this era when the immortal world is cut off, there are still people who can reach the level of the Emperor of Heaven. Seeing Qin Hao, who had already seen through the fairy magic barrier, a misty voice came. Then, the fairy mist like a sea of mist rolled around, revealing a living being. It was a body ring immortal light, even around the body, there are immortal creatures with the immortal law looming. An extremely terrifying immortal aura swept from his body, shaking the 9 days. Even at the beginning, the one who descended from the space wall on the battlefield of Daiguan immortality in a foreign land is far less terrifying. Innate energy. Have you entered the realm of true immortality? Wrong. Qin Hao's eyes were densely covered with runes, and mysterious fairy light was surging. The revealed creature has indeed been cleansed of the mundane air and has become an innate creature. Moreover, there is still immortal energy surging in his body, which is obviously the innate immortal energy extracted from the immortal mist. But this creature still has not truly set foot in the realm of true immortality. At the very least, Qin Hao didn't feel too afraid of the creature in front of him. You must know that although Qin Hao survived the Heavenly Emperor's tribulation, his combat power was enough to overwhelm the human realm. But no matter what, he is only at the top of the humanistic field, and has not even reached the peak. According to the rumors, a drop of blood can maintain immortality for several epochs, and it is impossible for a true immortal to live forever, have an immortal body, and have an immortal spirit. Furthermore, if you really set foot in the immortal realm, there is no need to stay on this road to immortality, right? The soul, body, Tao fruit, laws, and heavenly mind are all perfect. It's true that in this era, one can reach the limit of the great emperor. The mysterious creature was also using secret methods to find out the details of Qin Hao. This also shocked the mysterious creature. In the past, it had seen many mythical worlds and ancient emperors who had set foot on the road to immortality. However, it is the first time that it has been able to polish all aspects of its realm at the level of the Emperor of Heaven. It can be said that Qin Hao is the strongest Emperor of Heaven in ancient times. What a pity, bad luck. This generation is destined to be unable to become an immortal. No matter how strong you are at the level of the Emperor of Heaven, it will all be in vain. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, Love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 178. It's all in vain, why don't you just leave your body to me? The next moment, the mysterious creature suddenly took action. The fairy mist roared. Ancient fairy spells containing true fairy magic broke through the air from the fairy mist. Immediately afterwards, the originally invisible spell, the fairy magic barrier, was solid at this moment. Immediately, this fairy magic barrier turned into a sealed world. External laws, Taoism, and breath were all isolated. This approach is equivalent to Qin Hao's Tianxin mark is isolated and cannot rely on the law of 10,000 daos. Although the road to becoming an immortal can lead directly to the immortal realm, it is still located in this universe. Beings like Qin Hao who have set foot on the level of heaven and earth, even in the process of becoming an immortal on the road, you can also control the coming of the 10,000 principles at any time. That mysterious creature has suffered a loss in the past, allowing several ancient gods and emperors to escape. Boom! Qin Hao was quite calm about this, and directly punched out. During the flash of Hongmeng immortal light, a fist of immortal light containing the 6 paths of reincarnation was punched out with incomparable ferocity. Qin Hao did not hold back on this punch. The 178 pieces of Hongmeng immortal bones in his body were condensed into one at this moment. There is a majestic Hongmeng Qi, like a Hongmeng true dragon, rushing out vertically and horizontally. The sound of clicking spreads. Those ancient immortal spells that broke through the air were directly shattered by the huge impact. Even, that waiting for the terrifying punch, the killing power was still unabated, and he went straight to kill the mysterious creature. Such a breath! Have you obtained the true magic? No, even if you practice true immortality, it is impossible. The supreme aura contained in the Hongmeng law shocked the mysterious creature. Qin Hao, who is clearly only in the human realm, can actually compare the qi of laws cultivated to immortal beings. To know. The aura of Xian Huang ancient star had been infected by the dark energy from outside the region as early as the immortal ancient war. After countless years of permeation, all the creatures in Xian Huang ancient star must have been contaminated with the energy of darkness. But there is no darkness in Qin Hao's original law. Is this possible? Could it be that, as rumored, there is an ancient secret realm hidden on the Xian Huang ancient star? The emergence of this thought made the mysterious fairy look excited. If this is true, then there is a great opportunity hidden in Qin Hao. When his thoughts are flying around, the attack of the mysterious creature is unexpected. It was not slow at all. The 6 reincarnation fists blasted by Qin Hao were easily resolved by the mysterious creature. After that, the mysterious creature took a step across the air, and between the seals of his hands, he sacrificed an ancient long sword. That on the ancient sword, there are countless ancient sword patterns emerging, and there is a faint fairy light flickering. Go! The mysterious creature shouted low, and the ancient sword burst out of the air. A deep sword mark appeared between the sky and the earth, and even the aura of immortality was annihilated. Immortal soldiers. Could this guy have transformed into a true immortal after his death? Qin Hao was moved. The immortal aura exuded by that ancient sword definitely surpassed the ranks of the Ji-Dao Emperor's soldiers. It was a real immortal weapon. And without the realm of true immortals, it is impossible to activate the immortal soldiers. Immediately, Qin Hao also used his killing sword. The sword energy was vertical and horizontal, and the 4 swords of Zhu Xian whizzed out, turned into a sword formation, and slashed away in the air. When the roar sounded, there was fierce fire splashing everywhere. Even if it turned into a sword formation, the 4 Zuxian swords were still severely knocked away, and the bloody sword light was torn into pieces. But the ancient sword only trembled slightly, annihilating the killing blows of the Zuxian sword formation. In a collision, the immortal soldiers and the gap between the Dao Emperor's soldiers was clearly revealed. A mere humane weapon, still trying to compete with the immortal soldiers. The mysterious creature sneered, formed the sword technique with both hands, and struck Qin Hao with the sword again. Obviously, the mysterious creature wanted to kill Qin Hao with the help of the immortal weapon. The Supreme 9 Secrets, the secret of soldiers. Qin Hao once again controlled the 4 swords of Zhu Xian and faced him head-on. This time, when he saw the 2 slashing fiercely again, Qin Hao sacrificed the 9 secrets of the Supreme. There was a slight buzzing sound. The sword that originally had boundless sword intent broke through the air. The immortal sword that seemed to be able to cut the sky and split the earth was greatly affected. Although it could not directly control the ancient sword, it could interfere with its killing power. How come? The mysterious creature with a ferocious sneer was shocked again. Can the secret method in the human realm actually affect the immortal soldiers? Qin Hao's eyes were cold and he took the opportunity to attack. What happened to the secret method in the human realm? Wait until he proves it. After the immortal way, all the magic he performs are immortal way magic. Even if it is simple martial arts, it is also immortal way martial arts. Because the most important thing is the monk himself. Just like Qin Hao, he has exchanged several supreme immortal way secret techniques. With his current cultivation level, he is completely unable to exert the true secret of the immortal method. And if this mysterious creature in front of him has already reached the level of a true immortal, then it is impossible for Qin Hao to influence it with the secret of military characters. That ancient fairy sword. Reincarnation. When the mysterious creature wanted to use the secret method again, Qin Hao took the lead. The treasure of reincarnation broke through the air and turned into a reincarnation disc to suppress the mysterious creature. The aura of the supreme immortal magic contained in the reincarnation disc made the mysterious creature was horrified and had to fight against it. Seal up. Qin Hao took advantage of this gap and raised the 9-story fairy tower, shrouding the ancient fairy sword. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 9-color fairy light scattered among them, turning into countless fairy magic orders, entangling the ancient fairy sword. Soldiers. No matter that fairy sword, struggling and slashing like this, they can't break free. Those fairy lights order. It works. There was a bright light in Qin Hao's eyes. Just as he expected, the 9-level immortal pagoda is a supreme immortal treasure that surpasses the immortal weapon. In fact, the origin of the 9-level immortal pagoda may even exceed the level of immortal Dao. Otherwise, it would be impossible to suppress those on the 9th floor. Zhangubeo. Receive. After that, Qin Hao shouted, and his whole body bloomed with Hongmeng fairy light. The 9-story fairy tower was amplified, and the 9-color fairy light was even worse, and he immediately took away the seal of the ancient fairy sword. The mysterious immortal spirit who had just shattered the reincarnation disc was stunned. The natal immortal weapon that had been refined after countless hardships and countless epochs was taken away like this. Qin, could it be that Hao has broken through the shackles of the Emperor of Heaven and become an immortal in the world of mortals? Time. When the mysterious creature was shocked, Qin Hao's destructive attack was already coming. When the 4 swords of Zhu Xian were united, the Desolation Sword art contained the law of time, and it was struck with incomparable ferocity. This sword can be collecting Qin Hao's magical power. With one sword strike, the entire time and space of the fairy magic barrier is controlled by Qin Hao. Disintegration. At this critical moment, the mysterious creature finally came to its senses. Standing upside down with cold hair all over its body, it cast out a life-saving forbidden technique without even thinking, trying to disintegrate and escape. Reincarnation. In Qin Hao's Soul Sea Immortal platform, the 2 traces of the source of reincarnation emitted the precious light of reincarnation. Chi chi chi. Immediately, the mysterious creatures with thousands of incarnations all emitted strange smoke. Because here in an instant, the thousands of incarnations of that mysterious creature were all traced back and aged by the reincarnation art. After condensing 2 reincarnation marks, Qin Hao's understanding of the reincarnation art reached an astonishing level. Now, at the same level, he can even make the creature trace back to its origin and age into nothingness in an instant. Although this mysterious creature is extremely strange, it is true that it has not yet reached the level of immortality. Since it has not become an immortal, it is a turning point in front of Qin Hao. Don't waste any time. Since the death of Immortal Ancient, Qin Hao's title as the most powerful heavenly emperor is not just talk. After annihilating the secret method of the mysterious creature, Qin Hao imprisoned his original soul and wanted to refine his soul. Qin Hao wanted to know whether this road to immortality really led directly to the immortal realm. He also wanted to know why so few people had stepped on the immortal road and become immortals in these long years. Tisk. But at this moment, the origin of the mysterious fairy suddenly ignited spontaneously. Although Qin Hao reacted very quickly, he could only capture a few memories of the origin. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 179. Alien invasion, ancient immortality collapsed. The energy of darkness infects the immortal energy. Immortal realm is closed, unable to become an immortal. From the original memory of that mysterious creature, Qin Hao refined some broken information. Although there was only a little bit, Qin Hao was still able to deduce a lot of information. For example, the destruction of the immortal ancient era was caused by alien races from outside the region. The broken Imperial Pass that Qin Hao saw on the battlefield of the Imperial Pass was indeed built during the immortal ancient period. The fact that foreign races from outside the territory can invade from that space wall should also have something to do with the ancient war. As for the dark energy, it infects the immortal energy. This should mean that the immortal energy of Xianhuang ancient star has been infected by the demonic energy of foreign races from outside the territory. Therefore, on Xianhuang ancient star, there is only the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, but no immortal energy. Naturally, Xianhuang ancient star can no longer regain its ancient immortal style. In fact, the world is constantly changing, and one era is not as good as the other. But in the end, the road to the immortal realm was closed and he could not become an immortal. This made Qin Hao a little concerned. Could it be that the road to becoming an immortal no longer leads to the immortal realm? So, that mysterious fairy spirit keeps wandering on the road to immortality? After pondering for a while, Qin Hao dismissed the distracting thoughts from his mind. Whether you can become an immortal or not, you will know the reason when you go to the end of the road to become an immortal. Immediately, Qin Hao looked at the immortal pool and stepped into it. Immediately, extremely pure immortal liquid poured into Qin Hao's body continuously. But Qin Hao quickly discovered that those immortal liquids were also mixed with traces of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. If you really want to say it, these should be considered fairy liquids. Those fairy liquids enter the body, while increasing Qin Hao's magic power, while purifying Qin Hao's physical body. Not only that, there were also traces of mysterious and unpredictable insights into Qin Hao's mind. At this moment, the 6 secret realms in Qin Hao's body were all shining brightly and dazzlingly. At this time, the 6 secret realms actually began to gradually merge. Not only that, the integration of the self-god and the physical body in the 6th secret realm has also accelerated a lot. This surprised Qin Hao. This immortal pond, even if it doesn't allow people to become immortals, can directly transform them into immortals. But he still has various mysterious and magical abilities that can speed up Qin Hao's cultivation. When Qin Hao suppressed the mysterious creature and practiced in the immortal transformation pond, the road to becoming an immortal was already filled with blood. Although not all of the strange creatures that appeared were as terrifying as what Qin Hao encountered. But it also allowed the 9th level creatures who entered the path to immortality to suffer disaster. It is extremely rare at this moment for the human race in the universe to join forces to fight against each other. Tisk. Over the ruins of a temple, thousands of fairy blades flew out, turning into countless killings. Qin Yi, whose body was stained with blood, had a calm and indifferent look in her eyes as she displayed a supreme killing technique. As soon as this technique was used, the strange creature that exuded the aura of immortality was immediately fatally attacked. Qin Yi made seals with both hands, developed the supreme chaos killing technique, and took advantage of the situation to completely kill the strange creature. There wouldn't be such creatures in other places, right? Qin Yi frowned slightly. She was a little worried about other people in Dei Holy Land. After all, among the people from the Holy Land who came to the Immortal Road this time, there were dozens of late-stage quasi-emperor realms. If those quasi-emperor realms met such weird creatures will definitely die. Thinking of this, Qin Yi waved her sleeves, sealed the Buddha's light relic, and immediately used the secret technique. This is a special induction secret technique. With this technique, she can sense the surrounding holy places area of people. Destroy. On a vast spiritual lake, Qin Fengxiu, who was covered in blood, used all his strength to sacrifice the Supreme Emperor's weapons. The rolling blood was like a rain of blood, continuously scattered. The whole soul became blood red. It was exactly the bloodthirsty beast that attacked Qin Fengxiu was killed by Qin Yi. The road to immortality is indeed extremely dangerous. The precious elixir quickly emerged. After recovering from his injuries and cultivation, Qin Fengxiu looked at the end of the road to immortality. He almost died here when he just entered. I really don't know what kind of danger is there at the end of the road to immortality. From now on, Qin Fengxiu is also like Qin Yi, using secret techniques to sense people in a holy land. Judging from Qin Fengxiu, among all the monks who have entered the road to immortality, I am afraid that only his senior brother Qin Hao has that strength. Pass through the road to immortality safely. As for other people, if they don't know how to advance or retreat, 8 out of 10 9 out of 10 will die on the road to immortality. It's not just Qin Fengxiu and Qin Yi who are acting. They are all Zhou Yang, Zhang Taishu, who fought bloody battles for the rest of their lives, Demon Bassian, Luo Great Sage and others, after overcoming the killing calamity, are also gathering the people of Daoyi Holy Land. Since they do not have enough strength to embark on this road to immortality, they naturally preserve the heritage of the Holy Land. These years, Qin Hao has put out countless cultivation resources in order to cultivate strong men in the Holy Land. They can't let Qin Hao's hard work be cut off like this. But unfortunately, when Qin Yi and others began to feel that the people of the Holy Land at that time, most of the dozens of quasi-emperors in the Dei Holy Land were dead and injured, and only a dozen people were still alive. Those 10 people were only because Qin Yi and others arrived in time to save them. As for the universe's 10,000 people, the human races of the domain and the 5 domains suffered countless casualties. Even the ancient emperors of all races and the great emperors of the human race suffered many deaths. After all, not all ancient emperors and great emperors could survive like Qin Yi and others, with a life-saving inheritance. From then on, Qin Yi and others gathered together. They stopped moving forward and prepared to use secret techniques to tell Qin Hao that they were leaving the immortal road. But it was only then that they discovered that the clearly visible exit of the immortal road was actually I don't know when, it has disappeared. At this time, Qin Hao is still practicing in the immortal transformation pond. Whether it is the fluctuations in the outside world or the secret skills of Qin Yi and others, he has no idea. This area is like fog. The sea-like fairy mist seemed to be able to block all perceptions, making it impossible for people to detect this place. Boom! At a certain moment, Qin Hao's whole body was shaken, and the essence of the 6 luminous secret realms was perfectly integrated at this moment. Immediately afterwards, the Hongmeng roared and shook, there is a law source pouring out. The essence of the 6 secret realms, after merging with the source of Hongmeng law, condenses into an ancient law pool. In the law pool, there is Qin Hao himself then, as well as all heavens and 10,000 ways, are the most original mysteries. Qin Hao's eyes slowly opened. There was a mysterious aura in his eyes. It was a kind of profound enlightenment, as if one had understood the origin of the Great Avenue and could ascend at any time. This training in Huaxian Pond really allowed Qin Hao to take a big step forward on the road of cultivation. Not only has his cultivation soared, the essences of the 6 secret realms have been integrated, but his own spirit and body in the 6th secret realm have also become more and more smoothly integrated. This smooth progress seems to have illuminated the way forward for Qin Hao. A path that can defy the heavens and become an immortal even if you don't enter the immortal realm. After all, after surviving the heavenly emperor's tribulation, the fusion of his divine and physical bodies made Qin Hao a little shaken. Because the speed of such fusion is too slow and too difficult. It even gave Qin Hao the idea of whether he could find a way through this. But now, all those inner demons and illusions have been shattered. Qin Hao's heart and Tao are as firm as ever. Buzz. At this moment, Qin Hao's expression suddenly changed slightly. The Hongmeng mark in his soul actually trembled at this moment. This means that someone in Dei Holy Land is encountering a life and death crisis and is asking him for help. Have they all gathered in one place? After sensing for a while, Qin Hao's eyes narrowed slightly. He sensed that the auras of Zhang Taishu, Zhou Yang, and others had gathered together. This also meant that all of them were in danger of death. Crash! Immediately, Qin Hao rushed out of the immortal transformation pond, and then used his supreme magic power to directly pull out of the immortal transformation pond and merge into the law pond of the 6th secret realm. This immortal transformation pond is a huge help in merging his god and body into one. With this immortal transformation pond, Qin Hao can at least achieve successful fusion 20,000 years in advance. Qin Hao naturally can't let it go. Then, Qin Hao's figure flashed across the void and disappeared. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 180. At this time, Chengxian Road was on an ancient battlefield. The more than 20 people gathered together, including Qin Yi, Zhang Taishu, and Zhou Yang, looked extremely solemn. Because three immortal creatures appeared in front of them. Different from the strange creatures I encountered before. What appears in front of you are real immortal beings. These creatures, regardless of their soul, body, or Taoism, have completely transformed. Although the aura it exudes is still a bit weird. These three creatures should have officially entered the immortal realm. Therefore, they will burn the Hongmeng law in their bodies to seek help from Qin Hao. A Taoist tradition has actually reached so many peaks of humanity. It seems that Xianhuang Universe's luck has recovered a lot. No wonder the road to immortality will begin in this life. When the others in Dei Holy Land looked at the three immortal creatures solemnly, the three creatures with immortal laws also looked at them with interest. It's a pity that it's still a little weak. Didn't those sages who fled for their lives in the past tell you that you can't pass the road to immortality without setting foot in the fairy land? The three immortal beings seemed to be talking to themselves, and some seemed to be talking to people in the same holy land. You have already entered the path of immortality, why are you still blocking our path to becoming an immortal? Qin Yi heard this and spoke in a deep voice. Even if she wanted to delay time, she also wanted to know the purpose of these three immortal creatures. They have become immortals, but they are still on the road to becoming immortals, and it seems that they are still deliberately blocking them. This makes Qin Yi and others, no matter what they think, they don't understand why. Why? The reason is simple. You are all contaminated by the energy of darkness and are not allowed to set foot in the fairy land. As the three immortals spoke, the laws of immortality around them began to surge. A bone-chilling chill that chilled Qin Yi and others' entire bodies surged uncontrollably. Obviously, these three beings were too lazy to say more. About to kill. This also made Qin Yi and others feel a strong sense of death. Even at their peak, they would not be the opponents of these three immortals. Not to mention, they were just now, I fought with those weird creatures. I would like to know who gave the order not to set foot in the immortal realm. At this moment, a dull voice appeared without warning. Then, in the rippling void, a figure stepped out of the void. Emperor. Big brother. Master. Seeing the figure stepping out of the air, everyone in Dei Holy Land became excited. Because the person who came was none other than Qin Hao. Although the opponents in front of them were three immortal beings. But after Qin Hao arrived, Qin Yi and others all felt relieved. In their eyes, Qin Hao was an invincible existence. Even immortal creatures were the most suppressible. After looking at it, Qin Yi and others who survived, as well as more than a dozen quasi-emperor realm. Qin Hao's expression did not show much concern. The road to immortality is already extremely dangerous. It is a great blessing that more than 20 people survived. Thinking about it, after being baptized by the road to immortality, it will have a great impact on their future. The road will be of great benefit. Whoops! After that, Qin Hao waved his sleeves, and the fairy light flickered. Qin Yi and others were all brought into the law space by him using the magic of the universe in his sleeves. Immortal Aura. After the baptism of the immortal pond, Nirvana transformed. This is impossible, the immortal transformation pond has been polluted and can no longer transform into an innate body. When Qin Hao appeared, the three immortal creatures who were originally surging with the immortal law were all moved. The law fluctuations in Qin Hao's body actually contained a purer immortal aura than them. If he hadn't known, the creatures in the immortal realm will not bend down to become immortals. They will all doubt whether Qin Hao is the successor of the Taoist tradition in the immortal realm. The road to immortality was created by the ancient immortal power, and everyone can become an immortal and ascend. But you are here, preventing me from going to the fairy land. Who gave you the order? At this time, Qin Hao's cold voice rang out. He finally understood why almost no one had ever passed the road to becoming an immortal in ancient and modern times. These three immortal creatures were much stronger than the mysterious creatures he had killed before. Many times more. If we compare the mysterious creatures that Qin Hao suppressed before to half-step immortality in a foreign land, then the three immortal creatures in front of us are existences that have truly stepped into immortality. And they are still that kind of, not immortal. Immortals who are suppressed by heaven and earth and can come in their true form. From this, it can be seen that the cultivation level of these three immortal creatures has reached such a great level. Who gave us the order? Who else do you think can order the road to immortality to be closed? Qin Hao's bone-chilling murderous intent brought the three immortal creatures back to their senses. Although Qin Hao's immortal aura was indeed extremely amazing, his cultivation in the human realm could not make them feel afraid. Human and immortal creatures, that huge gap like a chasm, almost no one can break it in ancient and modern times. Naturally, they will not think that Qin Hao has the supreme combat power to defeat immortals in adversity. Even now, the three of them are no longer true. He has become an immortal. But it is definitely not something that can be fought in the human realm. Fairyland. Just because of the invasion of alien races from outside the territory and the air of darkness permeating the air, will future generations not be allowed to become immortals? There was a biting chill in Qin Hao's eyes. For countless epochs, countless creatures have sacrificed their lives to practice. The purpose is to one day be able to conquer the immortal realm and set foot in the immortal realm. As a result, just because of a word from the immortal realm, it will end. If this is the case, then what's the point of risking their lives to stop the invasion of foreign lands? Just let the foreign lands invade and all living beings turn to the foreign lands' immortality method. You haven't become an immortal yet you feel aggrieved. Then did you know that the three of us actually set foot in the fairyland in the past? If we weren't contaminated with the energy of darkness, how could we be expelled from the immortal realm and come to guard this road? The words of those three immortal beings were astonishing. In the past, they all actually became immortals. You killed your own true immortal deity because of the energy of darkness. After Qin Hao heard this, he finally understood where the strange feeling of these three immortal beings came from. These three immortal beings are indeed immortal beings, but they have no true immortal foundation. Now wait for someone, the great emperor of the human race. There is no such thing as the Dao foundation of the great emperor. What's more important is that it's not that they can't condense the Dao foundation of the true immortal, it's that they can't condense it. Is the dark energy of the alien races from outside the territory so terrifying? It can make the true immortals in the immortal realm have to kill themselves. Immortal base? Could it be that the rumored immortal territory is also afraid of foreign races outside the territory? That's it, you're ready to hit the road. In response to Qin Hao's words, the three immortal creatures did not answer. Before they finished speaking, the three of them all used the law of destruction to kill Qin Hao. Their mission was to guard the road to immortality and suppress the creatures who come to seek immortality. As for the miserable mood of the creatures who come to seek immortality, they don't care. In these long years, they have killed countless talented people. Moreover, looking at the endless in the universe, Xianhuang universe is not the only one who is prevented from becoming an immortal. For the sake of the overall situation of the immortal realm, any life universe contaminated by the dark energy cannot go to the immortal realm. This is an iron law that cannot be broken for all eternity. You alone want to stop me. Qin Hao's eyes were cold and unconcerned about the killing techniques of the three immortal beings. If these three immortal beings had not killed the true immortal foundation, Qin Hao might still be afraid. But since he killed himself, if you have mastered the true immortal deity, then don't even think about stopping him. Crazy. The three immortal creatures were all angry and scolded them coldly. The killing techniques they used became more and more terrifying, and they directly suppressed the world for hundreds of millions of miles around.